What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel over here at Josh's shop, the Underground Garage. He's got a YouTube channel as well. We've been over here with Mike's car. This is where he's got the chassis dyno. Josh is back there. What's up, Josh?
Hey, guys.
So if y'all need to do some chassis dyno tuning rental to where you tune your own stuff on his dyno, he's available. Hit him up, like $100 an hour, 3 or 4 hours, 5 hours, how much every time you need. Garner, North Carolina, exit 312, real close. So you get to tune your own stuff though. He is not your tuner. Did I say that right?
You did. Tuna, not this guy.
We ain't no tuners. We tuners. We tuners. We like to fish in the sea. So let me show you what we got going on. Let me show you Josh's car. He's been working on his. Go to turbojohnracing.com. Grab yourself some merchandise. Comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. All right, so Josh is over here. We named this thing Crispy. I don't know if he was fond of that name.
So it evolved from crispy to extra crispy to the kernel.
So now it's the kernel. Okay, perfect. Over here with the kernel. So this is the LS motor, Power Glide, no, Turbo 400. Turbo 400, he just went to twin turbos. And so they're tucked up under here behind the bumper. A little bit bigger than what he had last time when the engine failure happened and the thing caught on fire. But he's having trouble spooling this thing. So I'm coming over here. There again, I'm not a tuner, but he's been struggling a little bit. So I'm gonna see if I see anything. We might have to bang this thing a little bit to make it work properly. He said it's taking a little while to get on the trans brake. They put nitrous on it to help it spool, and it did help it some.
Yeah.
But not enough.
You would think, I've always thought, been told that with nitrous, that you spray it and the boost is like right now.
Right.
And this one, from like a high gear roll on the dyno, it takes about 8.5 seconds to get in the boost. Spray the nitrous and it cuts that in half. It's 4 seconds, so it is better, but it's still,
right.
You know.
And that's a lot of nitrous. 125. Back in the day, I used to spray a 50-75 shot and it would just freaking wake it up. So he's got a couple cool things on this car. He's got these cutouts. They're activated by boost, so he's gonna just put shop air on them to open those up. Now this thing is, it's got stock manifolds on it up there. The turbo kit, these pipes are 2 inches, so they're a little on the smaller side. But you know, this is what I had before, so it should be fine. It was a T3 flange before, now it's a T4 flange, and that's a 96 AR on the turbine wheel. And what size turbos again?
They're BorgWarner S369s.
S369s.
They're from forced induction, so Jose's done whatever he does. They got a billet wheel on the compressor side. I think forced induction makes the cold side housing that goes over the compressor wheel.
Right.
And then I had precision turbine housings put on it, or put on them, because they're smaller, they package better. So yeah, so they're kind of not super high-end stuff, but not junk either. So
right. And I mean, maybe it's possible that the turbine housing is just, you know, too big, being 0.96s. I mean, that's a pretty decent sized turbine housing. But we're gonna look at it. He's gonna put shop air to the cutouts, open those up, do a little spool test, get a data log, and then we'll take a look at it and see if we can do some help. See if I can help him get it to where it'll spool up just a little bit better. You know, it's one of those things that's hard on cars when they don't want to spool. So here, check it out. It's too rich. Okay. Right, is it? Yeah. So he's got this thing on the gas scale. So we're gonna try to lean it out. For some reason it just went super. It was a 9:6 air fuel ratio on the gasoline scale. So when you're trying to spool it, it should be around 12.5-ish. Okay guys, so it was rich. So with the cutouts opening, it wasn't rich before when the cutouts were not open. So what we did, we just put 10 degrees of timing in. It had 19 degrees of timing. and we pulled 15% of fuel out. So we'll see how this, if it works out any better this time. All right, let's try it. Still rich, so we're gonna have to pull a little. It went up 200 RPM higher. It was a little snappier. Instead of 2,800, it was 3,000.
I like it.
All right, we got to get about 500 more RPM. Touched up this fuel map a little bit more. Let's see if this works. Still got the same timing, so we put an advanced table in. All right, let's check this data log out. We gained 200 RPM. We said we needed 5. We got 2.
All right.
That's a positive step there. All right, guys, so we went in there and cleaned up the fuel map a little bit more. Still trying to lean it out. When you look at this data log of this one, let's make it big so you can see it really good. This is TPS wide open. We got a little lean spike here, and this is boost. Oh, it's so cute down there. It's finally getting off the bottom of the chart. So it went lean a little bit, so we put a little bit of acceleration enrichment in it. Timing is still 29, but you can see the air fuel was lean right there. But then the air fuel ratio reaching back up some, and it's 12.5 or so. 13, probably 13.5 maybe might spool this thing. It's been a while since I messed with E85, so we're just kind of guessing. But we gained RPM. We almost got 3,301 RPMs. So we picked up some RPM here, so that's a good thing. So we're gonna try it again. So here's the data log real fast of this one. Made it a little bit more RPM. It's still pretty laggy though. A little leaner. That really, I don't know if that really helped or not. 13.4, 13.5, 13.0. Remember, it's on gas scale, so stoic is 14.7. We did make more boost. We finally got 1.3 pounds of boost. So still not a lot of boost at all. This converter is really tight. So in order to make it bang, you have to retard the timing a bunch. But in order to do that, you also have to, you can throw fuel to it once it starts banging on the limiter. We almost made it to the limiter, it's on 3,500, so we're going to drop the limiter down to like 32, 33. I think this thing's going to probably need some type of spool valve on it. We need to get to 3,800 to 4,000 RPM. And I don't know that we can tune it to get it there, because this converter rolling right there, we call that converter flash, converter roll. I mean, 2,800, 2,900 RPM. That's what she's going to flash to. So let's I'm going to fatten it back up just a tad, and then we're going to try to drop the limiter and see if it'll actually bang. All right, guys, so we just built another table, dropped the two-step down to 3,300 RPM, and we built an advanced table based on boost PSI. We're going to add 15 degrees of timing to 1 pound of boost, and then by 2 pounds, so in between 1 and 2, it's going to start retarding, and then at 2 pounds, it's going to have -5 out, and we're going to try to let this thing bang. So drop the rev limiter RPM two-step down to 3,300. So let's see if this could, you got to get it over the hump, and then once it gets over the hump fast enough, then it should be able to take off on boost. All right, let's try it. All right, spool attempt number 6. So we added 5 degrees of timing, and it drastically went leaner. So we had to fatten it back up, which makes kind of sense when you think about it. So, all right, let's try again. All right, let's go. Now, all the fuel that was in it initially, where it was so fat, we're fixing to end up back where it was initially. is what we're about to end up doing. Okay. All right, spool attempt number 7. All right, let's go. It got to 3,200. It was fixing to hit the chip. I think we set the chip at 33. That sounded better. It also hit the chip like a couple little pops, but I also don't think it made much boost. Okay, guys, so the torque converter in this thing is a 10.5 TCI. So the torque converter is definitely a little tight. I mean, generally, the bigger diameter of the converter, the tighter it is. So he's got a little bit of nitrous. I don't know that we're going to get it much better. I mean, we made 1 pound earlier. And that pass right there, it just made 0.9. So that was a 5-second spool up. And you can see the converter just grabs it. And, you know, the yellow line is air-fuel ratio. So, I mean, I think the converter just is, you know, probably the majority of the issue. Because we need RPM to make the turbos spin. So if he's got
I had tried a PTC 9.5.
Right.
And it actually, like on the trans brake, we go to maybe 2,500, whereas this one would go to 28.
Right.
I don't know if I had left that converter in the car and we had messed around like we're doing today, if it would have been better or not. I don't know, but so I was kind of disheartened with the PTC converter experience. So
Right.
we wound up back with the TCI that was in it, and that converter in this car with the same gear and tire and everything, it'd been 125 60 foot before. You know, so
But the little turbos were just spinning up so much faster.
So,
Okay, so we're gonna try, I just reached it up a little bit more, and we did bang on the limiter there for a second, but it wasn't even close to getting to the point where it was gonna pull timing. He's done convinced Josh to try to blow his up today by spooling it. Notice we're not on the rollers. He is heating up. Yes, a torch is not the preferred method, but that's what we got. As Josh said, we're the poorers, and we're not what's the rich folk call them? The haves and have nots.
The haves and the have nots.
so he's got a little shot of nitrous on it. We're going to see if it'll spool any better. I mean, I just think the converter, even though the PTC said, the PTC was worse. Do you remember what you said it was 18.0 in the PTC?
17 Van Stater, and I don't know what the second number is, I don't remember.
It's probably a 17.0, which that's a pretty tight PTC. Have you done cranking compression on it at all yet?
I did. They're between 185 and 200.
Are you kidding?
No.
That's a lot of cranking compression. And this thing should be spinning. It should be spooling these things right up.
I had like both PTC, John Bewley, pretty much anybody I talked to about it thought that with the 17 Van Stater deal and the converter, it was like, man, I think it just spool like a rocket.
Right.
And so, I don't know, I kind of started thinking maybe there's something else, that's why I degreed the cam and all that. Maybe I thought, I don't know, the cam's not right, or I don't know why it sucks so bad.
3,000, 3,200 is a low RPM, but that kind of cranking compression, I would think it would be a rocket spooling up. All right, so here we go. So he's got on the nitrous, so it's going to come on at like 2,900 RPM, spray a little bit of nitrous, and see if it helps it spool or not. Hopefully it will. Okay.
What's the chip at right now, 33?
Still 33. Yeah, we forgot. Notice how much quieter the car is. That's with the full exhaust. It is so quiet with full exhaust. It's not even funny. Okay, here we go. Nitrous definitely helps it spool.
It was only like 2-3 times boost.
Well, we ain't giving no RPM though. That was only on.
That's true. That's true.
We're fixing. All right, okay. So I think the two choices are spray it to spool it, or change the converter, or change the turbo.
On 125, and like I said, I think it made 2.5 pounds boost.
Right. So, but if we give it some RPM, it'll be able to go up. How much did it make it the other day on the trans brake with the nitrous?
Nothing.
So it made so we're improved.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have made forward progress.
Yeah, it would go 3,500 RPM on the trans brake, spraying the nitrous, and it would make nothing, no boost.
Okay, all right.
So we're a little bit less RPM than that right now, and we did achieve positive pressure, so
Okay.
definitely going in the right direction.
Okay, so let's try a couple more. Okay, so here's this data log. You can see it definitely made some boost. There's a couple lean spikes. This is the nitrous going on and off. We need to play with that. This is the timing. It pulled timing. So it got in there to start making it. Once you start getting on the two-step, these lean spikes are not really relevant anymore because it's unburned fuel. But you can see in basically in 4 seconds total, I mean, it made 2.1 pounds of boost. So we're going to try, let's see if we can make this work a little better. All right, so here we go. Pull number 2 with the nitrous on. We turned the rev limiter up to 3,600. So let's see what happens. Okay, we definitely made a little bit more boost. I think we're going to be able to go to like 4,000 RPM.
I think we go on the nitrous. I think it'll go as high as you want.
I mean, because it's banging on up there. So, okay, let's look at this data log. All right, guys, here's the data log. So it definitely, in 3.5 seconds. So we went from like 7 or 8 seconds and like 1 pound of boost. And we got 2.5 pounds of boost. You can see the nitrous and the rev limiters coming on and off. But, I mean, I think it could go much higher. But sure. Josh was just explaining, you know, he does have 17-inch drag radials.
Yeah, it does run a 17. It's a 305, 45, 17 in the back. I really enjoy that look on the car. The front wheels match the rear wheels, all that kind of stuff. Sort of a sleeper deal. The car ran really well with the old combination. 560s, 121, 122 per mile an hour, and then go a mid 160 foot. And the wheel and tire package, along with the car being quiet, nobody really expected that. And so I really like that aspect of the car. So with what we got going on now with these turbos, if I'm gonna have to be at 4,000, 4,500, you know, or maybe even higher than that on the two-step, I don't know that I'm gonna get the tire to stick. That's a pretty violent hit, and there's not a lot of sidewall in the 17.
No, you're right.
So,
I mean, and that makes a whole difference on converter flash, how hard it hits the tire. The converter will be locked up pretty tight at that point. It just sounds like the turbo is just, I mean, possibly too big. Maybe there's a restriction in the intercooler. Maybe it's possibly to...
Try that next, is take the intercooler off and just put some bypass pipes to just see what happens without the intercooler on it.
I mean, it's possible maybe the 2-inch pipe, maybe it needs to go to 2 1/4 from the manifolds. Sure. to the turbos, especially when you think about airflow. I mean, for sure, if you got a bigger turbine wheel and, you know, the motor, I mean, if it chokes it down before the turbo, I mean, that could be an issue. But if you go too big, then you get the same effect.
Sure.
So
yeah, I kind of thought the 2-inch tubing would help
velocity. Right.
So,
to make it spool faster.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, like where it goes into the turbo, that's the size right there.
Oh yeah, so that's tiny.
And so I don't know that a 2-inch diameter, that's what this is a 2-inch diameter tube.
Right.
And so actually I built these guys, that goes up into the turbine, into the turbine housing, and then this guy sits down in the exhaust, and they all seal up. So the T4 inlet is big, you know, it's a big square.
Right.
And so I thought maybe the exhaust was like expanding and then having to squish back down again right there. Right. So I built 2 of these and stuck them in there, but it didn't make a difference.
He's been trying.
Yeah.
So we can't see any visible like exhaust leaks. You know, we checked that earlier. Mike and him crawled up under there with everything running with the seemed fine. Don't see any visible like cracks anywhere. I mean, maybe, possibly. I mean, the intercooler's got a crack on the seam or something. I don't know. I mean, it's raceable now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make some passes if you want to. But like you said a minute ago, though, who wants to be dependent on nitrous to make it spool?
I really, yeah. I hate the idea of it being dependent on that to work. You know?
Right. So, but we made progress.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the progress was. The nitrous works. So I don't know. So we'll keep you updated and check out his YouTube channel too. He'll be posting some videos on it. And maybe there's a simple fix that we're missing. Maybe, I mean, possibly.
Definitely.
I mean, there is always a chance that it's got good crank and compression, so that tells you the cam timing's right. But maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something else simple. But all right, guys. Well, I guess we're going to jump off of here. This is going to be probably a pretty long video, so this is awesome. We got 9 transmissions, probably hot.
Right.
But if he wanted to put it on 4,000 RPM, I guarantee you we could make 6 or 7 pounds of boost.
I think at 4,000 or 4,500,
Right.
it would do whatever. I just don't, on the 17-inch drag rail, I just can't see that working. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it would.
Right. I guess it depends on the track. Depends on how sticky it is. I mean, there's a whole lot of variables.
I've had some people tell me if I want to let go of the button to try to get the tire to hook, just rip a bunch of timing out of it.
Right.
And so maybe, I don't know. To me, it seems like that's just a lot of RPM and a real violent hit on the tire, even with the timing yanked out of it. But maybe not. I don't know.
No, it is. Well, RPM 100% plays a factor in how hard it crushes the tire and spins. Sure. It'll rip it off in a second. All right, guys. Well, comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see y'all. 125 shot of nitrous. We'll make them spool.
Yes, sir.